I really encourage particularly younger executives to always be thinking about this. You should be thinking about it as your end game. We talked about, maybe the generation before us talked about retiring and sort of sailing off into the sunset. And we don't, now we just sort of do the next chapter, right? And I think board service is an incredible next chapter because it keeps your mind sharp. It keeps you, in spaces where you can learn different industries and different things. So when you're an executive in your 30s or in your 40s, have board service in mind and think about what types of professional development opportunities I would want to have so that expands my remit, right? So I'm not just going to be solely focused on finance for my entire career, but if there's an opportunity, here in this company for me to go from finance to something that's tangential or something that's a side space or sales or something else, get a lot of different opportunities, I think is important. And then just be intentional about what you're doing, because you'll find I've found a lot of people I've spoken to in the recent years are, I want to be on a board because everybody thinks being on a board is some new great thing, but they don't really know what that means and they don't invest the time in finding out what that means, right? So you want to be on a board. What do you think that means? What does that look like for you? What type of board? Everybody knows the publicly traded companies, but there are private boards and there's private equity and there's, venture capital and there are all these different spaces that you can play in. So get yourself educated about